In today's video, we're going to be reacting to some of the craziest, darkest, and strangest videos I could find online. Let's get into it.
Rise was an admiral in the Ottoman Empire's Turkish naval fleet. This dude sailed like all over the world. He made a map in the early 1500s. This map actually has Antarctica on it. And Antarctica wasn't discovered until 1820. And they're speculating that he composed this map based off of ancient maps over 4,000 years old, showing Antarctica had life on it.
Wow.
And if you line up Antarctica and this map that he made, it shows the coastline of Antarctica almost perfectly. That they're saying the way that they did this map making, you could only really do it from an aerial point of view. They're speculating that the maps that he had to reference were ancient maps where they had this technology of map making that we have no idea what it was.
That is so
This ancient
crazy.
technology.
Yeah.
They're saying what Antarctica looked like. That could potentially be what it looked like 10,000 years ago with no ice. And a lot of people have speculated that this guy was just a kook and he was just making up a map. But he made the most accurate atlas navigating the Mediterranean.
Wow.
His atlas was used by everyone. So the dude knew what he was doing.
Right.
Ain't no way people actually live in this house. Yep, they genuinely do. These houses in Kensington are completely flat, and this isn't an optical illusion. From the front, they look perfectly normal, like all the other houses and apartments on the street. But when you look at it from the side, it is actually flat. What the hell? As I'm sure most of you are aware, the London Underground is one of the main things in the city. Now, this was not easy to construct, to say the least. Now, these houses date back quite a long time, just about when the Circle Line was being constructed. Now, when this line was being constructed, they realised that it was going to cut across an area of housing, i.e. this area right here. So at this point, they had to make a pretty tough decision to either not build this line and then have millions of people who are going to struggle getting to work, or to literally cut the houses in half to make room. Cut them in half. What? And I mean, I'm pretty sure you can guess which option they went for. So they literally cut this house in half, and the train line is right behind there. And now this is what the inside of these buildings actually look like, which is crazy. It's like the TARDIS. An artist bought the building, turned them into studio apartments, and now rents them out. So yeah, you can actually live in that.
Holy moly, praise Jesus, man, because we got some crazy footage right now that is filmed, apparently over the South Downs, in the UK, of an orb-shaped thing, right? So this was filmed on a P1000 Nikon camera with a 3000mm focal length lens, which is why you can see the zoom so well right now, okay? Look at this. Apparently this orb was floating there and just kind of doing its thing, right? There's a whole backstory, so I'm going to read this out to you, and you better strap in, mate, because this is going to be one for the books, right? Right, so OP says, 11th of February 2025, 2:30am at the South Downs National Park, the UK. I'll try and keep this short. On the 29th of January, I made a post about wanting to get 4K high quality footage of a UFO. I have the equipment and met with an individual who said they could summon one of these things, and since my original post, we have been trying to plan a day which we could meet, which goes into the psionic stuff that Jacob Bob has talked about, okay? Crazy. Right, I arrived at the location, which was just outside of South Downs National Park, which is the area of 1,627 square kilometres, or 628 square miles, found in southern England. Right, that's kind of where I live, and it's a beautiful place. Stretches for 140 kilometres, 87 miles through the countries of Hampshire, West Sussex, and East Sussex. Weather was optimal and clear, but there was 10 miles per hour wind, okay? I recorded the object over a 20-minute period on both my Nikon P1000 and my iPhone, which is he has a second perspective on his iPhone that will just pop up here in a moment for you, right? Because it's absolutely incredible. For comparison, I captured some footage of the object on my iPhone 14 Pro Max to demonstrate that the phone quality footage is and will always be bad when it comes to this type of footage we need moving forward. I was surprised at just how much different the object looked on my iPhone. Knowing exactly where the object was is hard to guess. I estimated it around 400 metres, 1,422 feet away from where I was filming. The cars that could be seen going by in the background look close, but after looking at Google Earth, they are about 1,080 metres, 3,543 feet from where I was filming. So the object is somewhere between those two spots. I also was filming from the top of the hill that was on an incline, so our eye line was above most of the trees below us, right? And again, look at the comparison of the footage here between the Nikon P1000 and the iPhone. Bloody incredible, mate! While zooming in, I noticed a strange blur field around the object and I struggled to get a constant shot where the object was to be clear. It was like it would find the object and then immediately after the ring of blur could be seen around it. And that does follow suit with lots of sightings we've seen where people can't focus on these friggin' objects, bro. I haven't seen this before while using this camera. I only ever seen it when trying to photograph something light and circular in a dark setting, but that always has been on a telescope. It could be nothing, but it's something that I noticed. Multiple times in the video, the object can be seen dropping and then moving upwards side to side. There was a 10 miles per hour wind, so if the object was a piece of debris or something caught in the upwind, it should have travelled 2.17 miles in a 10 mile per hour wind over 13 minutes. That's a mad calculation, bruv. Alright. We were there, I'd say, for around 30 minutes and filmed the object for around 20 minutes in total, and it could be seen in the same spot and definitely didn't move a few miles while we were there. As I was switching cameras, the object moved upwards and diagonal, and within 20 seconds it was gone. I do have photographs, and the object was left in the air, shot off, and moved further into the distance. I also took around 90 photos of the object on my P1000, some of which are very clear. I plan on making a full video of everything that was captured, right? So we are waiting for more information. There you go, guys. You let me know what you think. This is absolutely insane, and this much detail, bro!
That is some pretty clear footage. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't know if it's real or not, but it does look real. So yeah, again, let me know what you guys think. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. For everyone that's currently watching and or subscribed, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel.
I'm not sure if you want me to tell you a vampire love story or if I've ever fallen in love. Like, the two aren't mutually exclusive. You know, like, how could they be? Vampires aren't real. Okay. So I'll tell you a vampire love story. Yeah, sure. No problem. I got you. Before we start, I just want to say that this story is completely hypothetical. 100% hypothetical. It also takes place in the 1920s, a time period in which I could never exist, so I cannot be held accountable for anything you hear in this story. Because I wasn't there. You get it, right? Okay, here we go. I read a story one time about a vampire named Vic. And apparently in 1679, Vic was 17. Around this time, Vic met a really nice girl. The young lady's name was Riesling, spelled just like the wine. Just like it. They got married and built themselves a cabin in the woods. The plan was to have a lot of kids and build on the family name. However, at the time, Vic was not aware of the fact that not all humans can have babies with vampires. After trying for many, many years, they finally gave up. And around this time, Riesling started realizing that Vic has not changed. Vic's features have not changed. On top of the fact that they couldn't have kids, the fact that Vic continuously looked younger than her and never aged started to affect her mentally. Vic understood that he had two options, either leave her and stop her torment or tell her that he's a vampire. Mind you, this is the 1600s. If he were to tell her that, most likely they would try to burn him at the stake. So Vic did what most vampires do, which was to remain alone. So for almost 250 years, Vic remained alone. That's until he met Selena in 1922. Their first date was going out to the movies to see Nosferatu. On top of the fact that Selena reminded Vic of Riesling, Selena's reaction to the movie Nosferatu intrigued Vic a little bit more. She seemed to understand the vampire's plight and empathize in ways that he's never seen other humans empathize before. After that day, he was completely hooked. He knew he was in love. But he also knew that he had only two options: either leave this lady alone or tell her the truth. After spending 250 years alone, Vic decided to tell her the truth. That night, he sits her down and says, "Selena, there's something I want to tell you about myself, and you might not like it. And I'm hoping that you'll love me the same way despite this." Now, a little background on Selena. She's a part of a temperance group. During the Prohibition era, there were temperance groups with a goal and a focus on limiting and stopping the consumption of alcohol by all. There was also a focus on jailing anyone selling alcohol, as it was illegal. Selena hopped up and she said, "I knew it. I knew you were a bootlegger." Now, this is not what Vic wanted to talk to Selena about, but he couldn't lie because he was, in fact, a bootlegger. He tries to calm her down and tell her that's not what I want to talk to you about, but she's irate. She's up in arms. She grabs all her belongings and she rushes to the front door. Vic, trying not to lose another lover in his life, is pleading with her. He's yelling, he's saying, "Please stay, listen to what I have to say." She doesn't want to hear any of it. She grabs her coat and she leaves. The next morning, Selena goes straight to the FBI. And that's because she thinks the FBI's sole purpose is to catch criminals. It's said that the FBI was formed to investigate corruption in the government. That's not actually the truth. The FBI was created as a way to integrate vampires into human society. When the FBI was created in 1909 or 1908, one of them, their main focus was to push vampire propaganda. Now the question is, why would they use propaganda? Well, the FBI knows that no matter how true a thing is, if it's unbelievable to the human brain will protect the human. Saying that there's another species out there that lives off the blood of humans and only comes out at night, and they're scared of garlic, that will make you think a thing is not real. Not only were they using propaganda, but they were also using distractions. What if I told you that Prohibition was just a distraction to get all the vampires into human society without anyone looking? There's no coincidence that the first vampire movie came out during Prohibition. I believe it came out in 1922. Anyway, back to the main story. Selena was never seen again because she started talking about the wrong people. Vic didn't figure this out for about 5 years. He actually thought Selena just vanished and wanted nothing to do with him.
You can really tell it's real because it looks so fake. Haven't you heard that's how you can tell if things are real, if they look really fake? And completely irrelevant, have y'all seen how awesome green screens are these days? I mean, really, they can just take you anywhere you want to go, literally. Help, I'm stuck in deep space atmosphere, help!
That's actually
Help,
pretty
I'm stuck
funny.
in deep space.
You can learn how to use your consciousness to move a physical object. A graduate from this institute is UC Berkeley's quantum physicist Dr. George Weissman, who has been able to demonstrate these effects repeatedly and over the past several years.
Well, it's just a freely suspended object, and it's inside a glass cylinder so that it's isolated from the heat, from drafts, and so on. If you leave it alone, it doesn't move at all. What we do is to basically focus on it and make it turn. So from the ordinary physics perspective, this is impossible. It's not there's consciousness and there's objects. Objects and space and time all are manifestations within consciousness. It's a kind of unification. Matter, so-called particles, are more like information carriers. Particles are not things. Even once you've seen it, it's not an actual existing particle, but then it can be thought of in a way. It is described by this wave function, which is just a probability function.
Well, unfortunately, that's just how it ends. I just wanted to see him move things with his mind.
Human-like teeth grown in pigs could make dental implants a thing of the past. It's literally a glimpse into the future of tooth replacement. No more caps, no more crowns, no more gold teeth, no more silver teeth, just teeth, human teeth that were grown on pigs. And it's the perfect time to say this isn't just a pig in lipstick. This isn't a fluff scientific article. It's actually a rather serious one. And the next images you're going to see are a little bit gross, so I apologize. As I scroll down here, you can see the actual process for it and some of the underlying fundamentals. Basically, humans grow only 2 sets of teeth in their lifetime, but pigs can grow up to 5 or 6 sets. So they can very frequently regenerate their teeth. And this is an image from the study, which, as we get to, basically they took cells and human, like, I guess, tooth or gum or enamel cells and grafted them onto a pig's jaw, as you can see here in these images with the gauze and the grafting. And what ended up happening is that after the teeth grew back, as they naturally would, was a pig, instead of growing back with pig teeth, they grew back with human teeth, which is just absolutely wild to me. This is the best image I could find of, my head's in the way, of a pig with human teeth. It's a joke, and this is like an old meme, and the bucktooth pig here doesn't really have these scientific human teeth. But it's actually not that far off of an approximation of what they want to do. The idea behind this science is you graft human cells into a pig's mouth. The pig will grow teeth that are very human-like. You can then extract those teeth and implant them into the human. You don't even hurt the pig because they can grow back 5 or 6 more sets, which I just think this is brilliant.
I'm always down for a way to grow new teeth. What happened to Japanese scientists developing the serum that could potentially grow teeth back? I would much rather have that than this, personally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
You know cockroach milk is healthier than cow's milk?
Cockroach milk? No. I didn't even know they
It's more
had
nutritious.
milk.
It's more nutritious and healthier than cow's milk. Cockroach milk. Google it, search it up.
Well, I mean, people eat cockroaches. Is that the same shit?
No, milk.
Milk?
Like they milk cockroaches and
I didn't
drink
know
the
they
milk.
milk cockroaches, fam.
I know, that's a thing.
Yeah. So how do you get that?
Has more nutrition, has more like benefit of drinking that than cow's milk. Now check this out. Cow's milk we know is bad for us, right? But we still drink it. So let's say there was an ingredient that had the elixir of life, but it just came from something that just sounds so gross or crazy. Would you take it?
Yeah.
Because you know it's good for you?
Yeah.
But what if it's something like terribly disgusting? What if like,
Oh, it's like,
what if it like, just imagine like the dirtiest person you know, and then they spit it out of their, you have to drink it out of their mouth. And that's the only way, but you'll be able to like live your best life health-wise.
I mean, that's like medicine right now. Like, no one likes to taste the medicine, but we still drink it.
Sometimes the medicine tastes good. They have the banana flavor.
Yeah, I know.
Or the cherry flavor.
Blindfolded, you would have to like plug my nose, then I would drink it, yeah.
So you would take it or no?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
If it heals me, man.
I feel like I would take anything as long as like there is an actual benefit.
Cockroaches, I didn't even think that they could be milked. That's a new one to me, and I did Google it, and apparently it is supposedly better than milk, but there's still studies on it. It's not 100% certain. Regardless, I don't think I want cockroach milk.
People are freaking out now they actually know what this is. Derealization, when life literally feels like this. If you've had it before, you'll know exactly what I mean. Where it feels like you're living in a bubble, no one around you is real, or everything around you is blurred, and it literally feels like you're in a video game and you're not actually alive. It is the worst and most crazy feeling, but what actually is it? Many people have had this feeling for years and not known it was derealization or what was causing it. And many people have lived with it for years not knowing how to actually get rid of it. So it can come from stress, anxiety, trauma, many other things. And the simplest way of explaining it is our fight or flight response, where our ancestors would have to choose between fighting a big animal or running away from it. What our mind does is take you out of the situation and say, whoa, it's too stressful here, let's not worry about anything and just sit here. So it almost gives you this out-of-body experience that doesn't feel real and distorts everything around you, and it's doing this to take your mind off things so that you could, back in the day, die in peace or whatever. Although it's horrible, it's not harmful now, and I've had this so many times, but how do you get rid of it? I know it's easier said than done, but you literally just have to relax. The more you sit there and think about it and trying to get it to go away, it is not going to go away. But the more you relax into it and just acknowledge it, say, okay, it's going to go soon, it will go, trust me.
There's something otherworldly lurking underneath Bremerton, Washington. In 1948, something strange was seen in the city of Bremerton, Washington. Local resident Virginia Staples was going about her daily chores in her apartment on Denny Street. This apartment had a large basement, and it had holes in the walls that were thought to lead out to the Puget Sound. While hanging her laundry on a clothesline in the basement laundry area, She couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching her. She finally decided to turn around, and staring at her right in the face through one of the holes in the walls was something she couldn't explain. She described this thing as being 5 feet tall. It was a bright orange shrimp-like creature with spidery legs and antenna on its head, and it was just swaying back and forth, looking at her. Terrified at the sight of this giant shrimp creature, Virginia fled the house immediately, broke her lease, and went to go live with a family member in Seattle. Years later, she returned to Bremerton to visit, and when she drove by her old apartment, she found that it had been torn down. So just what was this thing? A giant mutant cryptid shrimp in the laundry room? An interdimensional visitor? But what do you think?
I think that AI is a very ancient technology. In the book of Ezekiel, especially, the vision of them traveling in these craft that are a wheel within a wheel. So they had to have made these in a different realm. So they have a technology. I think our understanding of technology is just different.
I don't think we could even do the math on what that tech would look like because we are limited by the dimensions we are.
And we're not meant to understand it.
Again, we're going to go full circle back where it talks about it'll be like the days of Noah. I think the days of Noah were way more complicated than just people being bad people, right? I don't think it was just like Nephilim walking up. I think if you talk about like the Tower of Babel, I believe they truly possess this heavenly type of technology that could be devastating to humans. It's like the tree of good and evil, right? This is a thing from the heavens that they were probably messing with in the days of Noah because of the fallen angels introducing all these things. And then I think that's getting reintroduced today through potentially AI, quantum computers.
This may be a dumb question, right? They took a bite. Was their knowledge actually given?
I believe so.
I know moving giant stones is something ancient cultures did all the time, but sometimes you really have to ask, how? This is the Yangshan Quarry in the Nanjing province of China, and we can't even begin to imagine how they planned on doing anything with this. Mind-bafflingly enormous blocks that weigh up to 16,000 tons. That's 10 times heavier than the Forgotten Stone in Baalbek, Lebanon, the heaviest official stone block ever quarried. Now I know what you're thinking. Clearly stone blocks of this size were not intended to be moved, right? Well, strangely, there's virtually nothing here that suggests these blocks were meant to stay here. We see these giant holes at the bottom, a common method for disconnecting blocks from the bedrock, and would also be perfect for lifting them, if they even had the technology to lift it, which they definitely didn't in the 15th century when it's thought this project was abandoned. Even today, we would need the most advanced super mega crane to handle something of this size, with the current world record for the heaviest load ever lifted sitting at 24,000 tons by the Honghai crane, ironically also by China. Let's dial it back to one thing that everyone can definitely all agree on. These are clearly not natural formations. Perfect edges, 90-degree angles, obvious evidence of human intervention, and even sculpted knobs along the surface that stick out, which again is a common feature we see in quarried blocks around the world, thought to be used to transport heavy stones. In places like Cusco and Ollantaytambo in Peru, the Giza Plateau in Egypt. The official story of the Yangshan Quarry claims that Chinese Emperor Zhu Di wanted to erect a colossal stele, which is a giant stone monument in memory of his father. So he directed stonemasons to start carving out these gigantic stone blocks, which took them about 8 years to complete, only to realize at the very end that they don't know how to move them and abandon the project. Which sorta just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, the Chinese were and still are notoriously smart, suggesting they spent years of hard work and effort carving out these gargantuan blocks, which after 8 years of painstaking work, they look at and go, actually we don't know how to move these, let's just cancel this project. Kinda undermines their intelligence. And it's not just one, they quarried 3 whole megalithic blocks in the Yangshan Quarry without planning how they're gonna move them. Now, the fringe theories suggest that the weathering on these stones appear to put them closer to 8,000 years old rather than the commonly accepted 600 or so, and that the emperor just found this quarry, planned the whole project. His stonemasons look at it and go, bruh, there ain't no way we're moving these, and can it? Remember, history is written by the victors. If the Chinese emperor found this quarry and decided to claim in the official records that he made it, our history books and Google will tell us just that. Maybe the official records are totally right, but perhaps they really are much older than we think, carved by the long-lost advanced civilizations who were known for moving the biggest megaliths in history around the world. And strangely, just like the Yangshan Quarry, many of them appear to have been abruptly abandoned, like some global event took place that caused them to immediately stop their work. In which case, who built this, and how on earth did they plan on moving it?
Can somebody explain what's happening here? This is strange.
And the billionaire class have gotten together and said, don't worry, no one on the Republican side in the House and Senate who control both the House and Senate, is going to speak up and challenge us.
I mean, nobody's gonna ask if he's okay.
But we need to protect Americans' privacy and their social security.
Y'all, that was weird. I don't think you have to be a conspiracy theorist to say that that was weird. Dude looked like he either was possessed for a minute, a robot who froze, or had a stroke. And no one seemed to care. There was zero concern. No one even flinched. They just sat there. No one ran to check on him. No one treated this like what it looked like, which was a medical emergency. They just let him sit there and keep trying to talk.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. Y'all, let me know what you think about it in the comments.
Yeah, that definitely looked pretty concerning. Not trying to go a conspiracy route or anything, that definitely looked like a possible medical emergency, and it was pretty crazy that nobody even addressed it.
This video is causing quite a stir because the footage shows an extraterrestrial. Firstly, let me tell you, the footage was investigated and proven to be unaltered, edited, and is neither AI generated nor CGI manipulated. Let me show you the video, then I'll show you a deeper analysis of this alien. Okay, watch this first.
La cámara, vean. Vean. Vean la cámara sale y entra el infrarrojo. Vean eso, pero ustedes ahorita ven la luz, se ve muy rara, vean ahí. Ahorita les voy a mostrar a ustedes, eso que se ve ahí es una esfera. Yo ahorita la estaba viendo, es una esfera, pero ahorita les voy a mostrar quién trae en la mano esa esfera. Vean ustedes y vean cómo se desaparece. Vean lo que hacen. Vean lo que hacen. Vean lo que hacen y vean, se van. Y vean lo que se ve. Es increíble. Viene lo más bueno. Viene lo bueno, mi gente, vean. Vean lo que está ahí. Vean esto que está aquí, es un ojo. Y acá está el otro ojo. Vean, un ojo y el otro ojo. Vean eso. Vean esto que está aquí. Estos son los ojos. Ahora vean.
Kind of looks like a prop alien to me, but definitely some weird stuff going on. Now you can see
Vean
it
eso.
clearly right there.
¿Lo ven? ¿Lo ven?
I see it.
Vean eso. Yo he estado viéndolo detenidamente y lo veo y no lo puedo creer.
There's different characteristics of your feet that will tell you how their personality is.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, check this out.
Let's see.
So there's an Egyptian, there's a Roman, there's a Greek, there's a Germanic, and there's a Celtic.
What the fuck?
So me personally,
Yeah,
I have the Greek foot, so it's the third one, of course. So the Greek foot, it says also known as the flame foot or the fire foot. This is where the second toe is larger than the bigger toe. People with this shape are said to be sporty, creative, but have a tendency to be impulsive, which can lead to stress. They have leadership qualities, but if this toe is narrow at the bottom and much wider at the top, they are said to be very expressive and have drama queen-like characteristics. I guess I don't have that part because mine's not that wide. Now, what's yours?
Okay, let me see it.
So there's an Egyptian.
Yeah, I'm Egyptian. It goes down. It goes down like this.
So Egyptian foot. The Egyptian foot is the most common of the three and distinguished by the big toe being longest.
Yep.
Now following the 4 and a 45-degree angle. Okay, the meaning, those with this foot shape are said to have feet of royalty,
Oh, yeah.
and their personality shows it. So they enjoy being pampered and taken care of. Their aesthetics are very important to them.
Fact. Let me know what type of feet you have in the comments, not in a weird way.
Science was purposefully created to hide God. Even further, science is Gnosticism, and I will prove it. And this great scientific debate goes back to the 1st century, earlier, and even the medieval ages. But let's start here in the 1st century. Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and the vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called. Now this chapter is about following the righteousness in the words of Jesus Christ and his teachers, and not falling into the vain babblings and opposition that is called science, but falsely called science. The reason for this is there is a real science that you can prove with the scientific method, but what they have is a false religion science, which is the Greek word gnosis, which is knowledge and intelligence and understanding, but remember he said falsely so-called science. Now let's look at the word gnosis, which traces back to the Greek 1st century Hellenistic religions about the sun, the moon, the stars. Go figure, huh? And this is also where we get the word Gnosticism from, which is straight up religious ideas. And today, this man-made religion is mainstream. Because all this science today is theory, Big Bang, evolution, the theory of gravity, where it should be the theory of relativity and density, which isn't really a theory. Anyways, this is Martin Luther. Google hides exact quotes on this topic, but he called Copernicus and his astronomy model all the Antichrist spirit. And after this video, you now know it's a Hellenistic religion. And obviously, he was against Rome. Today's science is a cult of alchemy, divination, and sorcery.
A man named Samuel was facing a year of unexplained troubles that upended his life. Strange occurrences followed him wherever he went, and just 3 months before this footage, he was fired from his job under mysterious circumstances. He was blamed for a large amount of missing stock. The manager had no idea that something far stranger might be at play. Determined to find relief, Samuel sought help through prayer, hoping his faith would provide answers. What happened next was truly startling.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm like going through a bad depression right now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like literally going through. Yeah. Oh, you are right. Yes, maybe Crane will do it. Hold on. Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me call you back because I gotta start praying. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna start praying now. Yep. All right. Bye-bye. Bye. All right. Oh. Okay, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I ask you, Jesus, for healing in this home. I ask you to take these demons away from my house. Leave my house now! Leave my house!
Whatever force had been responsible seemed angered by Samuel's attempt to connect with the divine, bombarding him with eerie distractions that broke his concentration. As a result, he fled the house, leaving his prayers unfinished and giving this entity another day to wreak havoc. Is it possible that Samuel's desperation only fueled the very presence he was trying to escape? Let me know your thoughts. A highway security guard named Javier Briones was on duty at a remote outpost in Uruguay. He recounts how, for several days, faint knocks echoed against the outpost door. Yet, whenever he checked, no one was there. During a live stream meant to document these incidents, Javier heard the knocking once more, and this time, he witnessed something unsettling. Watch closely.
tanto rato. 15 segundos ya, cabros. Están golpeados, ustedes están escuchando. Les voy a mostrar cómo está afuera para que vean que afuera tampoco anda nadie. Miren, miren. No se ve nadie afuera. La moto ahí, acá no hay nadie tampoco. Acá no hay nadie tampoco. Y están golpeando. Se escucha, les muestro igual.
As he carefully moves the camera across each side of the window, a pale, ghostly figure of a woman slowly tilts her head to look in his direction. The unnerving activity, however, did not end with that single sighting.
Las dos manos, que me comentaron que mostrar las dos manos cuando va a hacer de nuevo, para mostrar también que no soy yo. Ya hago este video, bueno, vamos el turno noche, ya como el 20. Hago este video para que ustedes lo compartan también y ver si a alguien más le pasa. Para eso son estos videos del turno noche, lo grabo para eso. Y pasó rápido. Miren. Se acaba de caer esto solo, güey. Miren, estaba acá, estaba ahí y se acaba de caer solo.
Choosing not to open the door, Javier watches in alarm as objects inside the outpost begin to topple without explanation. The knocking persists, heightening the tense atmosphere. But this was only the start. On another fog-shrouded night while on patrol, Javier hears the familiar tapping again and decides to investigate further.
Están golpeando. No esperé nada, 20 minutos.
Wandering the perimeter, he follows the steady knocking until he catches sight of a dark shape standing quietly at a distance, observing him.
Bueno, cabrón, 3 de la mañana y se ve como una silueta de un hombre parada allá.
I don't know about all that.
Está muy lejos, eso no sé también.
Eventually, he loses sight of this silent silhouette, and to this day, he remains uncertain of who or what has been causing these late-night disturbances. Javier suspects it might be the restless spirit of someone who met a tragic end on that very highway. Could there be another explanation? Or is this truly something beyond our understanding?
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Me personally, I think that this guy might just be paranoid with the sound that's happening around his office.
Jeremy, known for his keen eye and attention to detail, first noticed something unusual in his otherwise quiet home. Small items began shifting from their usual spots, and he soon realized his roommate Ed, a nurse who spent most of his time at the hospital, couldn't be the one moving them. Convinced there was something beyond the ordinary going on, Jeremy brought in several crucifixes, had them blessed by a priest, and placed them throughout the house. Rather than calming the atmosphere, these measures seemed to stir up even more unexplained disturbances, prompting Jeremy to grab his camera in hopes of capturing proof.
Okay, I've been hearing banging for a good little while now. It comes from the bathroom door over there and then from the front. Do you hear it? Did you hear that?
Definitely hear that. Definitely see the shadow.
Just lifting up the big up to watch and I can hear banging on. Can you hear it? It's this door. Hello? Hello? What? Oh my god, are you okay?
That cat knocked that over.
What's going on here today? So. There's no room in here either. What a crazy encounter. Now, I'll give you a bit of backstory. So, folks, I've been waiting to show you that video for months now. I caught it at the end of the summer, around August time, when paranormal activity was quite rife in my house, which I believe to be connected to a few of the haunted objects I've collected over time. Now, since this, nothing's happened in the house, apart from very recently when we were on holiday. My mum and sister were minding the house for us and heard someone again knocking on that door, the front door, opened it straight away and there was nobody there. And that's the first thing that's happened in a little while. So I just wanted to share it with you. It's absolutely genuine what I caught one day a couple of months ago, but I wanted to save it for the Halloween season with it being so incredibly good, if you will call it that. Let me know what you thought.
Played out in broad daylight, leaving Jeremy both unsettled and determined to find a solution. In the end, he proposed to Ed that they look for a new place to live, a request that Ed quickly accepted. Just a week later, they left, giving Jeremy a chance to move on from that tense and eerie chapter. But was this merely a fleeting brush with the unknown, or could there be more lurking in the shadows of their former home? Let me know what you think.
I'd say probably stop collecting paranormal objects and yeah, definitely move out of that house because that would be terrifying. I would have had to check that room where I seen the shadow under the door because that was the only indication that there was someone possibly in that house. Let me know what you guys think.
A man from Santa Fe, New Mexico, known for running a martial arts social media account, went kayaking one afternoon and recorded an unsettling discovery. He was so taken aback by what he captured that he decided to share it online without hesitation.
I don't know if anybody can see this or not, but I just reported it. That's a car in the river. That is an SUV. Look at this. Completely, fully submerged. It honestly looks like a Kia Soul. Can you guys see that?
Dad, pay attention. You're swimming to the edge.
While discussing the submerged car he found in the water, a faint child's voice seems to echo through the background of his video.
Dad, pay attention. You're swimming to the edge.
According to the man, he was entirely alone at the time, and only realized something was off once he played back the footage. Yet numerous viewers insist they can hear a child saying, "Dad, pay attention, there's a bridge."
Dad, pay attention. You're swimming to the edge.
To me, it sounds like there's a kid on that boat with him and the child saying, "Dad, pay attention, we're swimming close to the edge." That's kind of what it sounds like to me. I don't believe that there was nobody on that boat with him.
This could be the spirit of a child who tragically lost their life in that very car. Shortly after discovering the vehicle, the man phoned emergency services, and when they finally pulled the car out of the river, another chilling detail emerged.
I can still hear that kid in the background.
A flicker of movement can be seen inside the vehicle, but what could it be?
See that?
Was it a mere trick of the light, or something far more unexplainable? The YouTube channel AK Explorations secured exclusive access to the historic Grand Opera House in Macon, Georgia. Before their equipment was even fully set up, something unsettling took place. To understand just why these investigators were so astounded, it helps to know a bit about the venue itself. Built in 1884, the Grand Opera House has served as a vaudeville stage, a movie theater, and now a beautifully restored performance hall. Behind its polished facade lies a legacy of reported hauntings, rumors of unfortunate accidents from its early days, and the lingering energy of countless performers. Perhaps the most infamous legend centers on an actor who allegedly met a tragic end here in the late 1800s. And it's said that his ghostly presence still roams backstage.
I want to go up to a couple of them up top. With 18 something. We're gonna go right here so we see this. Let's look out here on this side. Look.
I did see something move behind the curtain, but that could have been just somebody, not a ghost.
As soon as AK Explorations ventured behind the curtains that night, their camera captured a fleeting shadowy form gliding across the room. It disappeared in an instant, slipping behind the stage drapery as though it had urgent business elsewhere. Startled by this sight, they questioned fellow investigators on stage to see if anyone else had noticed movement in that area. No one had observed a living person pass by, and according to the team, no one else was supposed to be inside the theater at that hour. So if it wasn't a colleague, who, or what, made that swift appearance? Still shaken,
Probably
they
just
pressed
a person
on.
walking by.
Later, on the upper levels of the Grand Opera House, the group documented yet another anomaly. Strange shapes or lights seemed to drift over the staircase, prompting AK Explorations to look for a rational explanation. Some viewers
Like
might suspect
dust.
a stray hair,
Yeah.
lint, or dust particles. But after a careful examination of the entire video, the team found nothing to account for these mysterious forms. Were these incidents undeniable proof of the opera house's lingering spirits, or simply the result of misinterpretations and coincidences? While skeptics might lean toward mundane explanations, believers may see this as one more confirmation of the site's haunted reputation. Ultimately, the decision is yours.
Well, I personally think that that is a strand of hair either floating down or dust of some sort. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, if any of these clips were of interest to you, there will be a link in the description that'll take you to all the videos that we watched today. And if you would like for me to dive deeper on any of the topics that we came across today, leave a comment down below and make sure to subscribe to my second YouTube channel, It's That Guy Dominic. There will be a link in the description for that as well. On that channel, I plan on doing deeper dives on topics that we run across on this channel, along with other things that I want to add to that channel as well. So if you enjoy my content and want to see more of me do different things, go check that channel out. I really appreciate it. And with that being said, have a good day.